Travis Wing did so. So, when Constantine created Christianity, created Jesus, he culturally appropriated the scriptures and turned them into literal history and called them the Gospels. And in so doing, it was a racial, bigoted hate movement that he accomplished, turning Christians into haters of the Jews. Because it's now literal history, the Jews are responsible for murdering their Christ that Constantine created. And that's why Joseph Smith refers to Constantine's creation of Christianity and of Jesus an abomination. And yet Brigham Young did the exact same thing. He turned Joseph Smith into a Christian. He turned his Christ into Jesus, the Christian Christ. Culturally appropriated the Book of Mormon and the writings of Joseph Smith, turned them into Christian writing, turned them into literal history even. Exact same thing that Constantine did, for which Joseph Smith referred to it as an abomination. And we go around on our missions ignorant about the first vision, but use it to tell Christians that they have no authority in the church with the death of the literal Jesus and the literal apostles. And yet that's the exact same thing that Brigham Young did. No authority upon the death of Joseph and Hiram. It's gone. But then Brigham Young made it worse, in that he created a new Heavenly Father. It's now Adam. And once you do that, you're definitely not the same religion, even if you culturally appropriate older stuff. That's what Constantine did. He changed the nature and character of Jesus, which was just a fictional character of messianic literature and the learning of the Jews, manner of prophesying. And Brigham Young, likewise, through his cultural appropriation, changed the nature and character of Heavenly Father instead of Jesus Christ this time. Though he'd already done that by making him literal history. And so, yeah, it does carry over into Jesus, because Heavenly Father now is the new version of the one getting Mary pregnant to create literal history Jesus, rather than the Jewish Messiah of Joseph Smith, which we're told by Joseph Smith is supposed to be a Mormon from the Great and Abominable Church of Brigham Young. As Joseph Smith comes from the broken up Great and Abominable Church of Constantine. And it's unfortunate that Mormons can't see the white supremacy, or they know they're white supremacists but are in denial publicly. But when you culturally appropriate and then change, you've now entered into racist bigotry. Now, the future prophets, Hinckley and Kimball, both denounced Brigham Young for his change, said it never happened, wasn't real. And yet, the other branch-offs of Brigham Young still keep it. So, Doesn't matter what this branch of Brigham Young claims. They just are trying to avert attention from the law, as the others are getting attention from the law. And the church's purpose for that is a more devious one, as I've gone over with you. But they're still white supremacist. That's why blacks didn't have the priesthood. There was no revelation from Jesus to restore it. It was a simple matter of they got the government to repeal the Edmunds-Tucker Acts for polygamy, so that they can restore polygamy at a future plotted time. Oh, is that why Nelson changed the law of chastity to allow for polygamy? Yeah. And why Oakes is going on a crusade saying the government is evil for denying them polygamy, which was against the law. Mr. Prosecuting Attorney and Supreme Court Justice of Utah. So, now I'm a little curious as to why the new Supreme Court Justice is freshly graduated and female. Couldn't they find a more mature person who's been experienced? I mean, yeah, great. You now have a majority of women on the Supreme Court of Utah and who are loyal to the church, but dear God, put some people who are qualified. But how does it feel to be replaced by a little girl, Oakes? And so, yes, now as you look back on my videos and you hear me talking about all the crimes of the church, all of the abuses of the church, all of the lies and deceptions of the church, all their attacks on me, you now know exactly why they're white supremacists. When I came to them with my decipherment of the Paleo-Hebrew script, I was instantly their enemy. And they should have known this was eventually going to happen. That if you're going to culturally appropriate Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon, there's going to be somebody like me who's going to do the research, who's going to want to know. They should have known this. And all they're doing about it is trying to assassinate me and silence me and torture me. Is it really worth the risk of losing the church prematurely? Because they're still going to destroy this church. They're going to rise up with a new one. You'll never guess what name. Give you a hint. It's the keystone on the Salt Lake Temple doors. Which should have been our first clue had the church been open with it, like they were under Brigham Young. Well, after it was built, which was after Brigham Young. But the Logan Temple, that has one. Nauvoo Temple had one. They should have been suspicious. Hey, what do you put in the... Why is it in the noonday sun position, Brigham? Why does it indicate that you just murdered Joseph Smith? Well... And so, yeah, all of the research that I'm doing in church history, the Danites, Heber C. Kimball's lying about his masonry, not understanding and knowing who Joseph Smith Sr. was, but telling us the records were destroyed. Now, do you see the bigger picture? They hate the Jews, which means they hate the Jewish language, which is Hebrew. And I come to them with the decipherment of Old Hebrew. I didn't realize it. I grew up as a white supremacist in the church. I grew up among white supremacist peers, but I didn't know that that's what I was being raised up to be. And so my rebellion against my parents and my embracing of black athletes, black TV shows, black music, was a complete departure from the white supremacy that the church was trying to raise me up in. I was a rebel. And yeah, so it all makes sense now to me. It's all clear, because for the longest time I didn't understand why was the church doing what they were doing to me. Why were members doing what they were doing to me? Why were leaders of the church doing what they were doing to me? It didn't make sense. I'm the one person who could help the church say, hey, Joseph Smith is a translator. Hey, world, guess what? And the church wants me silenced. The church tortures me with deprivation torture. And the church eventually escalates to try to assassinate me. And when I found the receipt of them paying for my assassination, my disappearance for 6 years, first of all, it was shocking. You know, I didn't realize. And now I know. Now I know why they excommunicated Abraham Gileadi. It's because of his pursuit of Hebrew. They didn't like it when he figured out that there was a man like Moses, even though he still kept Jesus in the picture. And so they let him back because he had Jesus in the picture. He shouldn't have caved. Abraham, you're still alive, right? We can check, I guess, Google search. Netherlands. He's 82 years old. Born October 24th, 1940. A Dutch-born American scholar and professor specializing in the Hebrew language. That's why they targeted you. Your analysis of the book of Isaiah. It's right there in the Book of Mormon. You should have known somebody was going to do it. And instead, what you now see, for the majority part, is you see Mormons who are going online on YouTube doing videos about Isaiah. They're so expert on Isaiah. They know nothing about Isaiah, but they're not covering the Hebrew, and so it's safe. You know, because once you do the language of the Jews, you're a target of the church. Well, the other people, I don't know. I don't understand. I mean, they made Joseph Smith a literal history, and thus he's a witch, as literal. So I don't understand why D. Michael Quinn, although the rumors are that it was because he was closet gay, which is another white supremacist hate. But, yeah, it all makes sense now. And because they did not take care of me, I was able to continue, publish, and carry on, and then do church history research, and then find out all that I've found out. And so, yeah, Mormons, you gotta leave. To stay in the church makes you complicit in their white supremacy. People who are putting thumbs down, which are death threats, as I went over, you are complicit. And a death threat makes you complicit automatically, but yeah, every time somebody sends a hate comment, a death threat comment, you guys are complicit in the white supremacy and the hatred of the church. You want nothing to do with freedom and liberty and rights for the rest of us. You want nothing to do with America and the Constitution. You literally are the kingmen who want to overthrow America and establish a monarch. Your kind of monarch. And so when I express my concern that we missed the Exodus in 2020 and we missed saving the government in the 2020 election and on January 6th, does that have more of an impact now that you can see how devious and evil the enemy is? How successful they are so far? They've been working on this plot for 200 years, making sure all the white supremacist groups got into position for this day and time. And so I'm deeply concerned. We're looking at a complete and utter destruction of the people. And likely nobody will survive to rise up with us a new world order. So, those of you who are in Sweden, who are getting a temple, calling out for help, because I'm still far behind. I'm still trying to get caught up on stuff because of the slow guest Wi-Fi and the deplorable conditions I'm living in. But I'm aware of you. But yeah, when I talk about the Book of Mormon, giving graphic about who the Great and Abominable Church is, and that the church is the Great and Abominable Church, do you see it now? Do you see what I'm talking about? It's not just merely for you to believe in, but for you to take the necessary steps to save your neighbor, to save your fellow Mormon, to save your family. Get them out of the church. Rescue them. Let them know that this is white supremacist, that they are anti-Jew, anti-black, anti-woman, anti-LGBTQIAPO+, which the Democrats are helping to sabotage, because you got the bully MAGA on the one side, and then the Democrats who are embracing the segregation. Oh yes, you want another letter? Let's see which letter is available. Oh, we got to do ABC. You're the ABC group, and we'll make special laws just for the ABCs. That's how absurd it's getting. And they're purposely doing that so that MAGA can destroy them. It's a tag team. Good cop, bad cop. Both deceiving. Oh, I got the stare down. From the Lice Man. He's getting worse, and nobody's going to do anything about it. Not even him. So, maybe he's Mormon. Maybe that's why he's upset. Because it's 2:40 in the afternoon. He can't be complaining about being woken up from his sleep. He doesn't work at night. All he does is sleep. Goes out and smokes. Comes back to bed. So he needs assisted living or a nursing home that can take care of him. Deal with his hygiene problem. And keep it away from the rest of us. But man, he's scratching so bad that he's keeping himself up. Not able to get to sleep. Which is why he's now taking it out on me instead. So, these are the times we're living in, guys. And hopefully now you will see that I've been right this whole time, like Joe has been telling you in the comments below. It's not a wonderful life, that's for sure. But hopefully the church will get busted. I reported them to the Southern Poverty Law Center. I look forward to explaining more. Because, I mean, we all suspected it. Some of us more suspicious than others. When 1978 comes along, and the treatment of women, and the treatment of LGBTQ. But the Jews, that's the big one, guys. That's who Joseph Smith was. And he was knowledgeable in translating Hebrew. I confirmed it. I deciphered Paleo-Hebrew. So no, he's not translating according to biblical Hebrew law, which was Constantine influenced. He was saying that was wrong, and I agree with him. It was wrong. They merged a whole bunch of different languages and threw in Constantine's Trinity for Elohim. So, yeah. Get rid of all of that, and there's Yah. Plain as day. The Hebrew God. Right there in Genesis chapter 1. And it's Yah, son of Yah. The Hebrew gods. Long lost because of Constantine. So, yeah, I'm just kind of bumming it today. Did my duty as an American citizen to report the national security threat. So yes, it was part of the counterclaim as well. This church must be destroyed. It cannot exist. It refuses to be peaceful. It refuses to allow other people their rights. It is seeking to harm. It is seeking to destroy. They are white supremacist. They are a national security threat. So when I told you that Nelson paid off Putin for the war in Ukraine, now do you understand? That was the receipt right there at the pulpit of conference. And then with China. And that was a bit of a scam, as I've told you in the videos. But yeah, that's why they weaponized a certain creeping death, forcing us to go back to work, to go back to school, to go back to church. That was supposed to be the Exodus, guys. Supposed to be the Exodus.